Welcome, Bright Light family.
How's everybody doing?
Hello, we're back again. I told you we would be back again. Hello. I'm glad that you've watched us and supported us over the past months now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It has been months, and we still going.
Right. I hope everybody is safe still and well out there and doing good with everything that is going on right now. Still with the COVID-19, it's surging in little areas, but it's calmed down a bit. Looks like in New York and all the other places, New Jersey, it took a heavy toll on a lot of people, but it looks like it's calming down a bit and probably gonna spike in those places like the beaches and things like that are open. So everybody just practice that whole hygiene, safety, wash your hands, social distancing.
And if you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I know everybody got cabin fever and want to get back out and start eating at different places and going out to bars and getting their regular life back. But it's still a little bit more time where we can just be a little bit more patient and focus on the things that are important, because there's so much going on in the world besides the COVID-19. Also dealing with the social injustice and the innocent lives lost to police brutality still in 2020.
Yes, and this is something that's been going on for years, which is a good thing because it was so long ago. Why, people like to point out the fact that, those things happened a long time ago. At the same time, it's still happening today.
Because the same system is in place.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. So did want to touch on that when it comes to the protesting and the racism. This battle has been going on for years, and it really shouldn't be a battle. God made us all uniquely. There's no one above the other, and that just needs to be recognized.
Right.
I don't know what the hatred is, but it's beyond me. It really is. But when it comes to police brutality and racism in that sense, or targeting in that sense, especially with the whole George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, if I'm saying it correctly. I can't remember the young lady's name who got shot up, and I don't know if the man is still in prison. These are just, people probably wonder why the Black community or any community or just people in general are harping on these three things at this time. Is because of the fairness of it. It's not fair.
And the lack thereof.
It's not fair for someone to take a life like they are and get away with it, maliciously murder someone. And I always, again, and this is before the museum.
I believe it's being done with intent. I believe there is an intent to do harm to those people that they did kill. It wasn't just today is going to be the day that I'm going to use this type of force and do this. This has been part of your everyday routine. Yeah. It just so happened that this person ended up on the other end of your bullet or your knee or under your arm.
Right.
But these are practices that these police officers have been practicing.
Yes. And, that does not take away. There are many, millions probably of great police officers. Just like, there are great teachers, there are great doctors, great nurses, there are people who are great in their profession of service. But then there's those few, unfortunately.
And those few, actually, like there's millions of good ones, there's hundreds of thousands of the bad ones. I would say at least.
I agree. And that's in every profession.
True.
That's in every profession. You have nurses that don't really like their job, but they got it because it was a decent paying job, but they really don't like patients. They don't like patients of a certain ethnicity or sexual orientation or religious preference. And so they treat these people differently. The people that can't really defend themselves, who don't have the means to do so, they treat them less than. Or treat them, I can't imagine. I don't even want to tap into that.
Well, real quick, I wanted to say something real quick. I tell people all the time when I have dialogues like this with so many different people from different races, sexual orientations, and from different religious backgrounds, if we would just do the research about America, how we were founded, how we got to this point where Black men and women are demonized and looked at a certain disparity and level of things, you know what I mean? Like, I was just Googling, and I did research about this before, how Birth of a Nation was the first major film in America, Hollywood. That was the first thing they did, Birth of a Nation, about Reconstruction. I had a white man in blackface going around sneaky, stealing stuff, stealing chickens, and attempting to rape a white woman. And the white woman ends up on the end of a cliff and ends up jumping off the cliff, then rather than be touched or raped by the black man. And the true name of the film was The Rise of the Klan. And that was the nature of America. And also during Reconstruction, when they came up with the 13th Amendment, which targeted black men and women as well, they abolished slavery and voluntary servitude or involuntary servitude, unless you were a criminal. So they still needed people. They had all that free labor. Now we don't have that free labor. How can we get that free labor again? So we're going to go target these people for petty crimes. And a lot of the people, I say millions of African people, didn't do anything at all. They were just born black in this country. So they would go out and take you, and now you're in the white man's custody, and they can do whatever they want with you because it's your word against them. It's your word against the establishment. So now you're property of the state. And I believe this has been perpetuated throughout history in this country. When people train for the police department, I think they see videos and they learn certain tactics and certain biases on how to deal with black men in the black community.
Well, what they do, and it is a lot of the training. I mean, just based on, again, with me going to the community policing, what I got a chance to see, and that was, I guess, my comment later on at the end, is you need to be more diverse in what you're showing. What you showed us a couple of things, but what we did see is a lot of police chasing with black men, black young boys, and you can't take someone from a small country or country town, predominantly white, and then all they're seeing is these bad images of black people
color.
Basically. You know, this is what they do. Yes, they should do their research, but a bunch of people don't. They join the police because that's just something they always wanted to do. So when they go into these more urban communities, whole look already is biased. It's like, no, these are bad people. And not everyone does that, but that needs to be pointed out. People need to understand that, or the police department or policing, they need to understand that when they're hiring people. I was talking to a retired police officer, and like he was saying, when they're hiring these people, they need to hire within the community. Try their best to hire within the community people who look like their community and know their community. So maybe they can de-escalate situations a little better. Maybe they know, this grandparent or this mother or this young man, young lady, and they can just talk to them because they know them and they know, where they're from. Maybe they can do something besides put their knee on them for 8 minutes and cut their circulation off and kill them, completely murder them.
And all of these deaths were preventable. Like my sister said, keyword de-escalation. There were so many other things that these officers could have done besides the choice that they made to do harm to these people and murder them.
Okay, so in that, we're not going to go too much because we can continue talking about that. And please comment. Let us know what you think. I mean, that we'd love to hear alternative outlooks on things because it's always good to get insight. Things that make you a good dialogue,
right?
So I want to touch on the protesting. Okay. I think it's a wonderful thing. Again, protesting is where you start, and it looks like
and it is your right.
Yes, it is your right. If I'm not mistaken, it's the Second Amendment. No, that's the Second Amendment. It's not the Second Amendment.
That's the bear arms.
Yeah, it is right. Bear arms. It's not the First Amendment. I had it up. You got me right now. But I do know it does say, peaceful assembly. You have the right to a peaceful assembly, and basically to confront your leaders and let them know what it is that that you're, looking for, or what your demands are. You can give them your demands. So that is something that it looks like has happened. My personal opinion, pushing it on saying stop policing, defund policing. What we need to do is definitely train the police. What we need is community policing more so than, defunding the police. We need the police. We need the police. Just like I feel like we need community policing. When I say that, that means community as a whole, not just the police,
individuals, right?
But community policing. So yes, the police are involved, but they'd be less involved if the community was more involved. Right. You feel me? Let me say it again.
I agree with that.
The police would be less involved if the community was more involved. While protesting is a wonderful thing and it's active and you get a lot of likes because that's what's trending right now. When it stops trending,
when the dust settles,
when it stops trending and you're not walking next to 10 people and that's not the hype, are you going to be in your community of service? Are you going to tutor these kids so they won't get behind? Are you going to
do a food pantry or
do a food drive?
Get some legal aid type situation going, anything.
Give of yourself, give a couple dollars, $5 for something, but within your community. You don't even have to say, I've heard people say, where's the money from Black Lives going? Or where's this money going? Where's that money going? You don't have to give to any specific large corporation. Right. There are people within your community who have needs, and they have needs. And this is where community comes in. They have needs. And instead of listening or waiting for them to ask you, go take them some groceries. They're hurting. Take them a bag of groceries. That way maybe somebody doesn't have to go out there and sell drugs or hit a lick or whatever they feel like they have to do because they're feeling hopeless. Go help them out, just a little bit. Again, community policing. And then that's also you being of service within your community so that they don't have to commit those crimes for those little insignificant things.
Prime example of community policing was the Black Panthers. That's what they did. They were the community police. They saw things going on in their community and they rose to the occasion, from free lunch programs to medical treatment for the people in their community, educational benefits in the community, protection from the police and the police brutality in their communities. That was a prime, to talk about what she's saying, that's a prime example of things that you can do and things that were done. But unfortunately, they were disbanded by the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover. But we're not going to talk about that either because that's a whole nother subject as well.
That is. And the thing about history is that history is the truth. You can deny it if you want to. You can sugarcoat it if you try. Ultimately, we know that the truth is the truth. You know what the truth is. So let's not play the game. But it was the First Amendment. It was the First Amendment, and it is, the abridging free speech, press, the right for people to peacefully assemble, petition the government, redress grievances. I say demands, redress grievances, same thing. So all that to say, again, if you're out there protesting, make sure you're continuing to be a voice within your community, and whatever that service is. It doesn't have to be monetary.
And vote. Again, the power of the vote locally, from your sheriff to your judge to your Senate, your Congress. Vote.
City council,
exactly.
I'm talking
even
about
your
sheriffs, treasurers,
absolutely.
Clerk of all those people vote for them, but not even just vote, because I remember once I went and I just marked off names.
Do research.
Do a little research, especially on that stuff that's going to apply to you. Don't play
locally.
But that's more important than the president, for real. If you're looking, you want to know who your sheriff is going to be. You want to know who that municipal judge is going to be, or who that common pleas judge is going to be. You want to know that information. You want to know about them.
And now you have the information at your fingertips where you can
Very
see
easy.
where they stand, things they voted on,
Yes.
communities they worked in. If they've ever been in trouble with the police to a certain degree, it's going to pop up that this person had this altercation or something like that, where you can see where this person stands. And if it's not congruent with your beliefs, then you know that you need to vote for somebody else.
And that's the thing. Don't vote Democratic, Republican, liberal. I can't say what you don't vote. Let me stop that.
Vote your conscience.
What I'm going to say is, can't even talk. Personally, for me, I'm going to vote probably for the person who's most fair, and the person who's in my best interest for my community and my family. You know, that's what I'm going to vote for. And I'm not even thinking presidency vote, because that right there, that whole hoopla that they do with the presidency, that whole circus act, I mean, I'm over it. Like every 4 years, I'm over it.
Because if the president does not have the support locally or in the Senate or Congress, he's just a figurehead. He can't get nothing done because, like, everybody's fighting it.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Governors.
fighting it.
Vote for your governor.
Absolutely.
You see how much power the governors and the mayors had over the states throughout the COVID, throughout the protesting. The mayors, they were standing up for what they believed in.
Right.
So check out what your mayor stood up for. Check out and see if your mayor put anything out there when it came time for the COVID or for the whole protesting.
Right.
See what your mayor was talking about.
Their
Did he
stance on
say
it.
anything?
Right.
Did you see anything? Was there anything?
And real quick, now that I have this platform, I would like to personally call out the NFL and their Black Lives Matter stance. Colin Kaepernick kneeled many, many years ago to bring to light the social injustice and the police brutality. Had people like the NFL listened and jumped on that bandwagon that he was carrying something that was true about the injustice, instead of trying to blackball him to make things popular, saying he was unpatriotic, maybe lives would have been saved. And now we are here at this point in history, and now we're saying that we support Black Lives Matter when you had somebody that was in your organization that was bringing light to this situation that y'all blackballed and did dirty. And I just want to put that out there.
Well, let me put this out there too. If we're going to go all the way, it's not even just the NFL.
Right.
It was so many other people. It was even myself. You know, I'd seen it and I'm like, okay, he's doing it, but I really wasn't seeing it. You know, he's seen it and he acted on it.
Right.
He did that, you know, beyond protesting type stuff.
His livelihood destroyed based on his convictions, and that is a hero. And that's an American hero.
And that is a beautiful thing. He could have had millions and millions of dollars. And he said, you know what? It's not even worth it. Y'all don't even really respect me as a Black man. So he was willing to risk a lot.
And
to me, that's a lot.
A lot of players now stepping up and saying things to bring to light. And I'm glad that they are doing it today. I just wish everybody would have supported that young man at the time when he was trying to bring to light as peacefully as you were ever going to get. He didn't hurt nobody, with no protest. He just kneeled to bring a light to this situation.
But sometimes it happens like that, where people come in before the storm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you hear that thunder for a while, rolling before the rain comes. So that's, that's what it was. And hopefully after all the rain blows over, we'll have
some
rainbows and sunshine and things like that, because there's always going to be a storm. And I just hope that we can unify and stop arguing and trying to differentiate ourselves based on skin color, based on religion, based on, I make more money than you. And so, it's a lot. It's a lot. I've been seeing a lot lately, and just from everybody. So, praying for unity in the community.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that we still have unity in the community this year.
And Ken, Ohio,
we'll see.
We're going to try to get that together.
We're going to still try and have it, but I just wanted you to put that in perspective. What was I doing?
And you wanted to end with a...
do I still have it? No, I don't.
Okay.
But I can easily clip that out, though.
That's all right.
So,
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks
And
again.
hopefully the dialogue has been started. We got your mind jogging with ideals, and hopefully a few of you that are watching will get on the internet and find out some things.
Yes.
Because it's right at your fingertips, and it'll bring to light why we are at the place we are in this nation's history today.
Yes.
And that all stems from the past. And the only way to get past that is to create a dialogue and start some healing and some reform. Things must change. Because if we keep putting the same salve on it and the salve ain't been working, we need to try something different.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying. But it was a blessing to be here with y'all tonight, as
Yes,
always.
it was. Always 3D. Oh, so I have sizes. Medium, large, and extra large. Only a few left. And I'll be selling them this week. I'll be getting rid of them this week. Peace, and put it in perspective.
Absolutely.